Hey guys, it's Topic Bricks here with another video. So I've got some news for you, and this is an article by, I think it's Brit Fanatics, yep, which states that LEGO is considering launching a subscription service with access to retired sets. Now, this is actually quite a big deal, and it doesn't make it evidently clear what sets would be available to buy or wouldn't be available to buy, or if this thing is actually going to come into fruition. They're just simply considering it. But we'll read more into it. So the LEGO Group's latest VIP survey suggests it's considering launching a subscription service that would allow fans to buy retired sets. The survey includes two different potential programs, both of which include similar benefits but different features. Among the proposed incentives for signing up are the ability to buy past sets from the LEGO Archive. So the LEGO Archive is basically a fancy way of saying past LEGO sets, the library of LEGO sets that have been built up in the past over the many years. And, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? I think it depends what camp you're in. If you're if you have a lot of skin in the game, as in you have a lot of these old retired sets which are worth an absolute fortune, you're probably not going to like this. But if you're someone who just really wanted those sets but could never afford them, this is probably a good thing for you. Me personally, I have mixed opinions, and there's just not enough information here to really digest, criticize, or go delve much further than that. I'll just give you my opinion on this whole thing, essentially. So I think my issue with this is Lego's a big faction of Lego's audience, whether they like it or not, is adults, and a big thing which adults enjoy about the Lego community is collecting these sets. Right, it's the same when you collect baseball cards or football cards. Some sets naturally are going to be hard to acquire. Such as some baseball cards are going to be hard to acquire if you want to complete a complete catalogue. There'll be somewhere like, okay, this certain card is one in every 1,000 packs or something like that. And it's the same with Lego. Some sets are on shelves, some are not. Some are hard to acquire, some are not. And that's what makes it fun to collect. And that's what gives it a thrilling sort of experience. If everything was made easy to collect, then it wouldn't be difficult to then collect them all. It's that sort of aspect of Lego collecting sort of dies, that hobby, and I do think that's quite a large portion of the community, maybe not a majority. But if you take a set like the Greengrocer, it's a modular building which a lot of people admire. It's very expensive. I believe it retailed for about $100 or something ridiculous, and it's now worth probably $1,500 sealed. The aftermarket value is extortionate. Lego are going to look at that thinking, okay, people shouldn't be spending $1,500 on a $150 set. So let's simply re-release that, kill off that aftermarket value, and provide people who are really wanting the set an easy alternative to get it. But I think for me, if I was collecting on the modular buildings, I think a lot of if the Greengrocer was made easy to attain, easy to buy, then it would lose a lot of its speciality. It would lose quite a lot about it, which I find quite special, because it's a hard to find set, it's a rare set, and one of the reasons I'll be proud to own it is because of those reasons. If it was made easy to buy, then I wouldn't really be that interested in buying that, in attaining that set, to be honest with you. It's a set with no interior, with a pretty simple exterior, and looks way out of date compared to all the modern modular buildings. So I think really the best thing to do, what Lego can do, which is a win-win for everyone, a win-win for the collectors and also the people who want a sort of Greengrocer set. Let's take a look at the Death Star 2. I think that set is about $2,000. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I think it only retailed for about $250. Instead of re-releasing that set, which would annoy people who have bought that set for $2,000, believing that Lego wouldn't simply re-release it. Also, the people who are wanting that set because it's rare and hard to find, I think those people would be annoyed as well if that just got re-released for a very cheap price, because it wouldn't feel as special anymore. But a way to please those people, as well as the people who actually want a Death Star 2 that's attainable and affordable, is simply remake a Death Star 2 which is up to the standards of today's quality. And there's many examples of this, like the Millennium Falcon. So Lego redid the Millennium Falcon much, much, much better than last time. It's all tiled off on the top. It's got like a cockpit piece. It's got different minifigures. It's so much better than the last version, but that's how it should be done. You know, that way it doesn't destroy the hobby of collecting. Because if someone wants to collect, if someone wants to be a completionist and collect all the Lego Star Wars sets, or to say the Star Wars UCS sets, they can still have that thrill of getting this rare, hard to find old Millennium Falcon set, which is still worth quite a bit. And the people who want a Millennium Falcon UCS but don't have to spend thousands of dollars on one on the aftermarket can now get a modern, up to date, better version for retail price. So, in my opinion, given access to retired sets is not the best way to go about it. I think Lego should have a sort of meeting, essentially, look at these aftermarket sets and their prices, determine, okay, what sets do you want to bring back, and make them bigger, better, more grander, cheaper than ever before. That's how it should be done, in my opinion. And it's like the Taj Mahal, the second remake, the architecture set. That's a better remake because it's you could argue it's better than the last version. It's newer, it's not as studdy, and it's a cheaper price as well. That's how a remake should be done. But I understand just doing a straight up re-release in some cases, and those cases are for sets. So obviously some Lego sets are aimed at children, some sets are aimed at adults. Adult collectors, sets aimed at adults are for collectors who want to collect these sets. They're not for kids to attain. So if Lego are looking at a greengrocer and thinking, okay, a kid shouldn't be forking out $500 of their birthday money trying to get a used greengrocer just because they want the greengrocer, I don't really buy that, because that set was never for children anyway. It was for the adults, it was for the collectors. That's their niche, right? When it comes to something like the Ghost, which we'll show now, this set was clearly made for the kids, right? I don't know how much it retailed for, but it couldn't have been a lot. The reason why it didn't sell too well initially is because Rebels had just come out and it wasn't entirely that popular. It got really popular towards the end of the series, and not series 1, where I think this was released in the midst of. But this is clearly a kids set. It's aimed at children, and this has been turned by the collectors, by the adults, into an adult set, because only adults can now attain it. Because this set costs like £400. This is about what, $600? Yeah, $550 sealed, which is absolutely ridiculous for a children's set. And I don't think it's aged enough. I mean, you can make slight improvements, I guess. It's not the most amazing looking set, but it's certainly better than sets such as like old Star Wars UCS sets, you know what I mean? But I think the best thing to do here is a straight up re-release, because I can see there's not been enough time evolved since this set's released to completely redesign a set like this, where I think examples like the Millennium Falcon, the Star Destroyer from 2002 to the 2019 version, or was it 2020 version, you know, the most recent UCS version, there's been a lot of time there where Lego can improve it greatly, but I don't think it's true for this. So for sets like this, I would say, you know what, go ahead, straight up re-release it, because yeah, I agree, kids shouldn't be spending $500 of their pocket money or their birthday or Christmas money on getting a Ghost, because it's not worth that. But again, for sets such as modular buildings, which are totally focused on the collectors, on the adults, such as the Eiffel Tower, this should be left alone essentially and not be remade. And again, it is $1,500, which is absolutely ridiculous. Well, that's $2,500. If that got sold, then the cheapest would be $2,500, which is again absolutely crazy. But instead of re-releasing this set, because this set looks pretty, like, I love this set by the way, but it looks pretty poor in today's standards. It's very blocky, it's not very smooth, there's not really many Technic elements used, and also it's the wrong colour. The Eiffel Tower is actually I think it's called Eiffel Eiffel bronze or something like that. It's got painted bronze 3 times over the last few decades, so it is actually it should be a tan colour really. I think it's a more accurate colour for this set. But essentially, what LEGO should do for this is not screw over the people who've already forked over $2,500 on this set, and destroyed the sort of hobby of collecting by re-releasing a set like this. Is don't be as lazy to re-release a 2007 Eiffel Tower set, which is out of date. Just make one of the same 1:300 scale, which is bigger, which is much better and more accurate than before. And everyone's happy. The collectors can still collect the vintage version, which they'll be proud to own because it's rare and hard to find still. It's not just been re-released. And the people who want an Eiffel Tower are actually getting a better Eiffel Tower than getting an old 2007 version, which in 2021 or 2022. Like, that to me just seems the most obvious thing to do. And it's the same with, all these other sets like the Death Star 2. Again, this is about a $2,000 set. Cafe Corner is about a $2,000 set. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I think if LEGO were to do this, I imagine that it's going to be for non-licensed products, such as the modular buildings, such as the Creator Expert buildings. I can't imagine that licensed themes would be put back on shelves again, because I can't imagine how the licensing would work. Would Disney be okay with LEGO basically putting back for sale a 2001 X-Wing, which is, looks way out of date? Would Disney want that sort of quality set on their shelves? I'm not too sure, and it's the same with Harry Potter sets. But I'm just coming up with that theory. I don't actually know what LEGO would or wouldn't do. But if they do plan on releasing theme sets, what sort of Harry Potter sets could we see? This is a set which I'm I would say saving up for. I want it and I do want to buy it, but I suppose I'm not putting money aside for it every week. But I do intend to buy this set one day. This is the cheapest in America is $700. It's a lot, and I think this is around $100 when this got released. How many parts? 900 parts. And I wanted to spend around $900 on it. It's absolutely crazy. The minifigures in the set, Umbridge goes for $100. It comes with a load of good minifigures. It's a great Hogwarts castle, one of my favourite ones. But a lot of the reason why I love this set is the exclusivity about it. It's owning a set which most people don't. It's not just thrown back up for sale 15 years after its release or whatever for a much cheaper price than what it was actually going for in the aftermarket, where it's easy to attain. It doesn't feel special anymore. I'd rather than re-release a Hogwarts castle, which you have done many times. But sets which I can think of getting, like if LEGO were to do this tomorrow, and all the old retired LEGO Harry Potter sets came on sale, the first things I would buy is this Hogwarts castle. I'd also buy the Motorised Hogwarts Express from 2004, because that set, oh my goodness, it goes for ridiculous. Let's see if I can find it. It goes for a ridiculous amount of money. Let's have a look. Motorised Hogwarts Express. What is the cheapest sealed? Yeah, it goes for about £600. That's the cheapest sealed one. That's absolutely ridiculous. Box is open. No, it's not sealed then, is it? Box is open, it's not sealed. Okay, sealed. £850. There you go. I really love this set. I love the Hogsmeade Station set thing, or build as well in the middle. I think that's great. I love the minifigures as well. I'd love to get this set. I can't really justify £850 or €1,000, but I could, if LEGO were to re-release this for retail, which is probably under $150. Of course I'd buy that straight away. I'd buy this. I'd buy the third edition for Hogwarts Castle. What else would I buy? I think those would be the two main things I buy. I'd probably buy a lot of the Goblet of Fire sets, such as the Graveyard Jewel. That set's actually gone down quite a bit. I remember when that set was an absolute rip-off. It was like $600 to $700, and now it's about $300 or $400, I think. It's gone down ever since the new Rise of Voldemort set from 2020. Oh, 2019, I think it came out, actually. But yeah, I think I would jump on board if LEGO did this and just spend all my money buying all these retired sets. But I think once they'd all arrive and I build them, and that enjoyment has gone down, that high has basically fallen, I think I'd look at them being like, okay, that was fun, but these sets aren't as special to me as they once were. You know, I'd rather save up and spend the extra money getting a hard to find set, knowing it's hard to find, than it just be mass released again. But again, I don't know if Lego will do this. This is just speculation from Lego's end. I hope they don't, and I hope they take my advice of, for example, okay, Lego look at this thinking, oh, you know, a motorised Hogwarts Express is people are having to spend €720 to get a motorised Hogwarts Express. We should re-release the set. No, what it should look at is, what it should say to that is, oh wow, people are willing to spend this much money on a motorised Hogwarts Express. So what we should do is release a new, better, non-2004 out-of-date version of a motorised Hogwarts Express in the same sort of like modern standard as the 2018 version. Like, and then it's a win-win for everyone. The collectors get to, you know, keep collecting these sets and have that sort of hobby and niche, and the people who want a motorised Hogwarts Express aren't getting an old 2004 version re-released, they're getting a new, better and modern 2022 version. It's just a win-win all round for me. So I would remake the sets and improve them, make them to today's standards. But what I wouldn't do is straight up re-release them. I actually think that's pretty lazy. But again, hopefully Lego don't go through this and allow people to buy these retired sets, or at least be very selective of which sets they are, such as, you know, sets which have only recently retired in the last few years, such as a Death Star. Like the new 2016 Death Star, that was a $500 set, that retired 6 months ago and now goes for what, $700-800, and that's a set. I know it's technically 16 plus, but in my mind it is a kid set. It's aimed at the children, right? And I think that could easily be straight up re-released by Lego, and I wouldn't mind. So again, I am open to them being very selective with these sets, but them giving us, you know, old modular buildings or creator expert sets which are look way out of date, no one really wants that. I think they might do on the surface, but I think deep down, when you think about it a bit more, they'll find out they actually don't want that. They don't want that hobby sort of destroyed by just straight up re-releasing masses of sets and just destroying that hobby. But that's just my opinion. I've waffled on a little bit too long. Let me know what Lego Harry Potter sets you would buy if Lego gave you the option to buy any retired sets for their retail price, or maybe even an inflated retail price to keep up with inflation, obviously. But let me know what sets you would buy if this scheme came to fruition. I've been Topic Bricks, and I'll see you maybe tomorrow. I'm not too sure. I'll have to see if I get the video done or not. But maybe tomorrow for another video. If not, I'll see you on Wednesday. So take care, guys. Have a very Merry Christmas. Bye for now.